Hi guys, my name is Denise. I am a health freedom activist in Northern California, and I have a website called .org. I always forget that. So today was our first day back to school and our first day homeschooling, which was a great experience. But I want to talk to you guys about the forms that come with your school packets the first day. So I am in Northern California, and you know what? My reach is not what it used to be. Hold on one second. I'm going to wait for some people to jump on so I don't have to discuss what I'm saying. I'll leave the window open. So, hi guys. Hi, Stephanie. I've had a lot of people questioning, and I just want some people to jump on before I start diving into it so I don't have to continue to repeat myself. Facebook has shadow banned me and is not giving followers the alerts that I'm on. Anyways, so I am in San Joaquin County, and I want to talk to you guys about the forms that were returned, that were sent to me today. The first one is, I want you guys to read these because a lot of parents were saying that they were getting them electronically, and that's not the case. You should never sign anything electronically. You should always have a hard copy of what your kid is, what they're into at school. So this is the parent notice of rights and responsibilities. They have you sign a blanket form. Okay, so this is the first one. It's just a blanket. I'm not even going to show it, but it says acknowledgement of parent or guardian of annual rights notification. So they give you just one form to sign that you've been notified of your rights. There's no other signatures required in here, and this is important because they tell you how to opt out, but they don't give you the forms for opting out. So my son's in 3rd grade, and this is the comprehensive sexual education and HIV/AIDS prevention education. So, sorry. So this form is for the new sex ed curriculum, so AB 329. You can ask your school, what are you using? What educational tools and books are you using for AB 329 compliance, which is the sex ed program? My son will be learning this, so there's no opt-out forms. They don't give me anything, so I'm going to have to send it into the school. I suggest everything you send to the school, you send via email, because there's a paper trail. You don't want to say verbally, and then if that employee gets released or they're not talking to each other, or if they say, well, you didn't sign anything, you have an email, because I don't have anywhere to sign. They say to opt out and you contact your child's school. So that's the first one. And if you parents who have a medical exemption for your child, I would suggest you complete the opt-out forms, which is they're the California Immunization Registry. So you want to fill that out, and on my previous post I have the link for it. What's happening, and I put up the email. I didn't want to do it yesterday, but I put up the email today of the LA Times is asking school districts up and down California for the child's medical information. They say they're not looking for the child's name or address, but they have everything else from a kid's medical chart or medical information, and it's the LA Times, so it's not like it's an agency, like a government agency. They're journalists, and they're trying to publish our children's information. So the next one is this, which was the disturbing one. This is all I did. So this is now apparently in California. You guys see that? This is what I did to it. So in California now, children are using, or the schools are using the the flu shot and the nasal spray. So I guess it just depends on what school district is doing what. If you didn't know, the flu shot or the flu nasal spray is a live virus, and it can shed. So it's going to get other children sick. They're lined up like cattle. What we were seeing last year, and this was reported in mainstream news, it was reported in alternative news, it really happened. Children who were getting, the parents were saying, we're just checking the box. They were checking the no, I do not consent, and then signing their name. There was forgery happening. So some of the schools were taking that out and marking yes. And then a lot of the schools were saying your child's presence at school is consent. So in big marker, so they could not, I didn't sign it. In big marker, it says no, child is not to get flu vaccinated with any vaccines at school without parental consent. So I'm sending him to school that day, but I'm having this, and again, it's a paper trail. And then, this is it right here. Health Services Department, this is to the Health Services Department. So this says authorization for use and or disclosure of information. So it's the student's name, the person disclosing the information to the people receiving it. So the district that I'm in, Health Services, and they want to release the child's medical information, drug and alcohol information, medication, STD and HIV testing, psychiatric, education, mental health, vision, and other. Now, the tricky thing about this is they tell you to sign, right? So they give you a space right here to sign. But in little fine print, it also tells you, I understand that I have the right to revoke this authorization in writing at any time by sending such written notification to the releasing agency. Written revocation will be effective upon receipt but will not apply to information that has already been released. I understand that health information used or disclosed pursuant to this authorization may be subject to redisclosure by the recipient and is no longer protected under federal laws and regulations regarding the privacy and protected health information. I further understand the confidentiality of the information when released to a public educational agency is protected as a student record under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. I understand that authorizing the disclosure of health information is voluntary. I can refuse to sign this authorization. I do not need to sign this form in order to assure medical treatment. This is a problem. If you don't think this is a problem, I think you need to reevaluate your the mental state of parenting that you're in. They are telling you in small letters, right? Because you send this, and a lot of parents go through the information and we look where to sign and we sign it and we send it out. And then in fine print, they tell you all of the information that they're going to release, and then they tell you, the person who's receiving it could send it to another party. They're also telling you that it's subject to FERPA. All this information is subject to FERPA. But we're seeing that LA Times is asking school districts' legal department for FERPA information. And then that legal department is sending it to your child's school saying, I need all this information, as though it is legally obligated, like a subpoena. And it's not. Opt out. I put no consent. Please opt out. Please read your children's packets. Read the information that gets sent to you. Understand what they're trying to take from you. I don't care if you're on the same fence that I'm on as far as the health of my kids. This is a dangerous and slippery slope. This is dangerous precedents that they're setting. I would also recommend that you guys put no biologic, no biogenic, no inoculations without parental consent. In the state of California, a child 12 years and older can consent to the HPV vaccine and the flu shot without parental consent needed or knowledge. And then in the in the state of California, 12-year-olds can do have a privacy clause in their medical records. So unless you get parental, or unless you get consent from your child, your 12-year-old can have privacy to their medical records. So you'll never know if they did get contraceptives, if they did have an abortion, because in California, 12 years and old can say yes to an abortion without parental consent or knowledge, or say yes to the flu shot or the HPV vaccine. This is what's happening in the schools in California. I need you guys to please read the packets and understand what is being sent home and what your rights are. Your rights are, you do not have to sign that, and you can tell them, no, I do not consent. So we need you guys, because the LA Times has started this, please contact your schools, send that non-disclosure basically agreement, the care forms, that you do not want your information being sent to a third party. Have it signed, notarized. I would send certified letter to the school, so that signature required. Contact your school district and let them know what's going on. Contact your school board and let them know that you, on the first meeting, school board meeting, you want this on the agenda. Okay, you want to discuss what is happening with these schools, and you want them on an agenda. If you went paperless, I would ask for the paper. There is nothing worse than paperless information, because you do not have a paper trail. You cannot edit. There's a lot of things going on with paperless that is a big problem. As far as what's wrong with vaccines, it is, I can't even answer that in one video. If you do vaccinate, I would encourage you to research before you do. Research the illnesses that we vaccinate for, how likely it is your child to get them, how likely it is for your child to get hurt, and how likely it is for your child to actually have a really bad reaction to the illness. And then pull up an insert. You can find it at the FDA. Just Google FDA inserts, or you can go to vaccine.guide and you can read the inserts for yourself and make an educated decision if you don't know the both sides of the fence for vaccinating. Anyways, so that's what I hope that you guys are able to understand, to please read that information. Don't sign anything electronically. Contact your schools, especially for the sex ed program. You're going to have to actually physically ask them for the opt-out forms, or you're going to have to send in your own email if you choose to opt out. They're telling you have to sign these papers, and they're making it seem like it's just mandatory, it's just policy, and it's not policy. I want you guys to understand what you're signing, because this is not okay. The giving vaccines at school is not okay. Cattling them in is not okay without parental consent. So parents, take back your rights if you choose to put your children in public school, and understand what you're signing before you actually sign it. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. As always, if you have questions as far as emailing for the LA Times, you can email latinosformedicalfreedom@protonmail.com. Okay, bye.